Welcome to the Ultimate Bloons TD6 strategy series, where I'm going to be showing you strategies for every single tower from the Dart Monkey to the Beast Handler and every single path in between. This will show you how to diversify your setup and get better, along with seeing some stats, tips and tricks, and all of the strategies for every single one of the towers. And although that the series is geared more towards Chimps mode, this will also show you a lot of tips and tricks that apply to the standard game and will allow you to win with a new style. Alright, so today's episode is going to be on Obyn, which is the last hero in our first segment. These are all 4 of the free heroes, and then after this we're going to be then moving on to the military towers. So getting into Obyn, he's kind of like Striker Jones and a very specialized hero. So you're pretty much going to be seeing him doing buffs to the druids, but he does a bunch of stuff with support, utility, and a bit of early game damage too. So let's take a look at the levels. Level 3 is the Bramble ability. This kind of shows the early game damage. There was a change recently where they can just like not disappear for a bunch of rounds, kind of like a Deadly Spikes, which is pretty cool. You can just spam the ability, and if it's kind of behind the defense a little bit, these guys will stay and they'll clean up, which is very nice. They can also be very useful to taking out round 40. Pretty useful ability. Now level 4 introduces the slowing totem thingamajigger. This isn't that good at the start, as you can see. Doesn't really have much of an impact, but in later levels there will be more of these guys and they get a lot better. Now level 7 is the Bramble buff. This is really big. It now pops 100 Bloons and they're way better. And then level 8, druids can see camo, which is actually a really nice change and introduction. So this can really help the flow of your strategy a lot, and you'll notice I'm skipping through some very basic levels that just maybe will buff druids a little bit. There's a lot of druid buffs. It's very good with druids. Level 10, we get the Wall of Trees, which makes a wall of trees that will gobble the Bloons. Very, very cool. It's kind of simple. You'll notice that it pops and gives you money. In Chimps mode, this does not generate you income. It just gives whatever comes in and it will push back out. Now level 18 has many massive druid buffs and all stuff. There's also buffs to like magic monkeys in previous levels, but they aren't really that good. It's like only pierce and range buffs. You want the damage buffs typically, but these buffs to the druids are very, very sufficient and very strong. And by level 18 it will increase the Druid of Wrath to 200, which basically means that the Druid of Wrath buff in Chimps mode, you can max it out when you have druids, which will make them incredibly strong. So as you can see, that's like same view setup of druids. When they have that later buffs, they do a lot better. And level 20 trees becomes a gobbler. It will clean up a bit of balloons, pretty nice, and it can even tank a few DDTs. Very cool. Now let's take a look at some of the buffs you might want to apply to Obyn, and that's pretty much a Berserker Brew, and I guess the jungle drums. You'll pretty much always have it, but it's good to get in there too to make sure. So the brambles with Berserker Brew are actually really strong. Just like the spike factor, increasing the pierce will increase the damage, which is something that a lot of towers don't see. So this is really good, and Obyn can be more effective doing damage in the early game. In the late game, kind of falls off damage wise, so I wouldn't really suggest like putting too much power into him. Your druids are really going to be doing a lot more damage than Obyn is, and when it comes to strategies, it's pretty much just the druid. So you can do all paths of the druid. Superstorm's a little bit more ambitious, I guess, but you could do it, I guess. It will also buff the other magic monkeys, but it's not that effective. I'm just saying that, like, you could do it, but there's better heroes that would support and give better utility to those types of towers. Now let's take a look at just two strategies. I'm going to be doing a Spirit of the Forest and Avatar Wrath strategy. That's pretty much the 2 strategies that you'll be seeing like most effective with the druid. So let's get right into the Spirit of the Forest first. So I'm just going to be getting down Obyn pretty early. You can't start with him. You actually used to be able to, and then they nerfed it, and then everybody like forgot how to do early games. It was kind of funny. Anyways, let's just get Obyn down. We can spam his brambles, as you can see. I'm just going to be getting for this something to beat round 40. So we're going to get a bit of an early game carry, because we can't really beat a Moab with a jungle's bounty. Can't really do that. Anyways, we'll get that sniper just to make leads consistent. Grab that ninja alk buff Bloonjitsu. We'll turn that guy into a stim, so Obyn will get the alk buff too. Then with that, watch this, bramble goes and absolutely destroys the thing. So when it comes to the brambles, they will actually target where Obyn is targeting. So it won't go to like where that placeable target is, where the trees is. You can target directly the trees, but the brambles, they're kind of random unless Obyn's attacking. Not really the nicest thing. That might get changed later, but oh well. Then we're just going to grab that Jungle's Bounty. People have been saying how this thing sucks now because it got like this nerf. It's actually kind of pretty much still the same. It will still destroy on multi-lane maps even. All of these rounds, like no issues whatsoever. As you can see, I didn't have an issue at all when doing this, just a first try black border. So we'll do that. I'll grab some Moab damage because I still need some more Moab damage. But the Jungle's Bounty is going to take out the Bloons just fine, which is very nice. I'll outbuff that ODS, and that's going to bring me straight into a Spirit of the Forest. I put down the trees in the back just in case, but nothing ended up getting into the trees, so that was very cool. The strategy is pretty effective, and you can get a Spirit of the Forest before round 80, and you'll just be chilling. Once you get the Spirit of the Forest, you have a bunch of different options. You can get more druids per se. Avatar Raft at that point is a bit out of the picture, but you could buff it up just with a ton more out buff populists, which actually isn't that bad of an idea. You'll get a lot of benefits with Obyn, and you'll have Spirit of the Forest doing a lot too. But what I did here is just go for another damage tower. So it could just be anything that does particularly good single target and DDT damage. The Spirit of the Forest is great with the cleanup, so I'm not really gonna have any worries with that. I'll get like a Relentless Glue and a Sabo just for support, but I'll then go for that Sky Shredder, which will make things better. Now in this, I actually did this on live stream, so you can actually check those live streams out. They're pretty cool. The link will be in the description, but I didn't really know what I was getting, and I made the decision to go for Sky Shredder after I bought the Sabo and the R Glue. So I would have normally went straight for Sky Shredder after Spirit of the Forest, but this time it was a little bit delayed because I wasn't really sure what I was doing, and the rounds kind of already passed and I bought those upgrades. Anyways, in a regular game, I just get those after the Sky Shredder, so you usually want to get your damage situated, and then you can fix all your weaknesses with support in the late game. So you can see the Relentless Glue and the Sabo come in clutch to stop those DDTs on 95. Let's get an overclock for this guy, and last thing I'll need is just some round 100 damage, so I'm going to go for a first strike to first strike that bad Obyn, and we're going to be doing just fine. We can use like Obyn's abilities in the late game to clean up a bit more. That's kind of what he'll do. You'll see me do that there too, but he's just going to be doing just fine. At this point, we kind of focus more on that Sky Shredder than anything else, but that Spirit of the Forest definitely did help us out, and Obyn was very good in the early game helping me get there. Anyways, let's take a look at the next strategy, which is another very famous strategy. You've probably seen this a whole bunch, and this is the Avatar of Wrath setup. So we're going to be doing the same thing-ish for the early game, but this time we have an option to do it a little bit different, and you can either get early game carry, which is very common, but if you want to be a bit cool and crazy, you can go instead for a druid early game. And the way you do this is kind of what I'll just show you right now. You're going to want to get something for camo. You can actually use brambles to get the camos, but that can be a little bit inconsistent for black borders. I wouldn't really recommend it. So I get the 110 sniper, 023 dart lane, not dart lane, dart. That's going to take care of that just fine on this fairly placed advanced map underground. And then I'm going to get a discount because I want to be greedy. You don't have to do that. You're going to alch buff Obyn, get a 202 druid, and then later a 302 druid. And now for round 40, what you want to do, you can also be extremely greedy and get 2 discounts like me. But you want to save a bramble up, so when Obyn starts attacking, place that alch buff bramble that destroys the bad layer, no, not bad layer, mob layer kind of instantly, and the Druid of the Storm will push the Stramix back. You basically killed the mob extremely easy. From there, you can get your village setups, and now spam your pop lusts, get the alchemist to a stronger stimulant, get all the pop lusts up, get another stronger stimulant, all the crew's alch buff, very, very cool, and then you're pretty much good to save up for Avatar Wrath. The Druid of the Storm is going to help out a bit, blowing some stuff back, and this will work on pretty tricky maps too, which is really nice. One thing that you want to make sure is that you have space for all of this, and also that nothing will be getting in the way of the stronger stimulants alk buff, because the Berserker Brew will be going to the closest targeting, so you don't want to be like alk buffing a 0/0 Dart Monkey. Now in this case, because of the placements and all, there wasn't really any damage like right next to that due to the storm, so I wanted to make sure I didn't regrow farm. Luckily it didn't, but that kind of made a consequence of the rounds taking forever. If you're going for like a black border, that wouldn't really be much care, but for me that was getting kind of annoying, so I bought like a deadly precision in the corner to kind of clean up this mega long stall. So I just did that, but basically you want to get like after this an MIB. You need an MIB because you have 015 on your avatar raft, because that will just do a lot more damage, and then you want to get something to deal with the DDTs. At this point, the strategy will take out everything but to the DDTs, so I recommend a Sabo or two. That's really going to make things a lot easier. You could even go, if you have the cash at this point, for like Icicle Impale or a Super Glue. That might be an interesting combination, but just a Relentless Glue and a Sabo usually, and I guess with Obyn's abilities too, will take out the DDTs very well. Round 100 is kind of free, all the rounds are kind of free, so that's pretty much it. Not much else to besides that. It's a very famous, very common strategy, very cool, and a lot of people do use it. But anyways, I guess that's really it for Obyn. Kind of like Striker Jones, very specified to specifically the druids. Way less strats than Striker Jones that you could reasonably do with ease and stuff, because Striker would have like 6. This one you really only have 2. I guess you could do Superstorm, but that tower is expensive and your rounds are literally going to take forever. I wouldn't really recommend it if you're trying to get all the black borders, but Spirit of the Forest and Avatar Raft indeed are very cool.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!